So friends, the 10th module of Aesthetics and Philosophy in the PG program in Visual Arts is in continuation with the 9th schedule, which we left halfway. If you remember, we discussed the Shabda Shakti towards the end of it. We started discussing Bhartrhari and the notion of Shabda Shakti. We discussed Abhida in the previous session, the principal meaning, and I told you that there are two other potentials of Shabda which have been discussed by Bhartrhari, that is Lakshana and Vyanjana. Lakshana could be translated as metaphorical meaning. If you read books on Indian aesthetics, you will find that these three words, Abhida, Lakshana and Vyanjana, have been translated as denotation, connotation and suggestion. I personally don't feel fully satisfied with this translation because Vyanjana is not only suggestion and Lakshana is not only denotation. Rather, I would subscribe to the terminology suggested by Dr. Kunjuni Raja, who calls these potentials as principal meaning, metaphorical meaning and emotive meaning. This I think is a better nomenclature. I would prefer to use that. So in metaphorical meaning, what exactly is a metaphor? We'll try to understand. Lakshana, secondary function of the significatory system. Very surprisingly, even in visual arts, a scholar called Panofsky has talked about the three-layered structure of the significatory system. The principal meaning, the metaphorical meaning and the tertiary meaning. Bhartrhari almost talks about the same thing while talking about Lakshana and Vyanjana. In Lakshana, the prerequisite is negation of the principal meaning. It's very interesting. Sometimes, to make the language more meaningful, you have to make it meaningless. How interesting Bhartrhari has understood how interestingly he has discussed the problems of language. He says that sometimes you have to give a meaningless signal to your listener to make your statement more meaningful. And have you noticed that in our discussion, we use extremely meaningless sentences. Rather, we make them purposely meaningless. That is called Mukhyartha Hati or Mukhyartha Bad. The principal meaning is either killed or the principal meaning is defunct. How? Try to recollect any metaphor. Do you know what is metaphor? In the Alankara session, we talked about the metaphors. What is metaphor? Do you remember any of the metaphors which we used in that, which we discussed in that session? Metaphor kisko kahenge? I am sure in your school days, many of you are Hindi speaking students. In your school days, you must have faced a question in your papers कि नीचे दिए हुए मुहावरों का अर्थ बताकर वाक्य में प्रयोग कीजिए. 9-2-11 हो जाना. 9-2-11 हो जाना. Now what does that mean? If a person doesn't know Hindi, if he is trying to learn Hindi through dictionary, he will get baffled. 9-2-11 हो जाना. आदमी 9-2-11 कैसे हो सकता है? Which means that the principal meaning is eliminated over there. There are so many phrases in every languages. Every phrase is a metaphor. All these muhavre which we use in our languages are excellent examples of Lakshana. Or when we say Sher-e Kashmir, when we say even some of the most common phrases which we use in our everyday language, कि अरे उसकी बात ही मत करो, वो गधा है. Now, how can a man be a gadha? So what I mean to say कि वो गधे जैसा है, मगर मैं कहता हूँ कि वो गधा ही. Now try to recollect what we discussed in Alankara, where the object of comparison and the standard of comparison is collapsed together. It becomes a metaphor. When I called that time, we said that वो मेरी जान है. This is a similar example कि वो गधा है. तो एक्चुअली वो गधा नहीं है, गधे जैसा है, इसलिए मैं उसको गधा कह रहा हूँ. Do you get my? And by doing that, what happened? My expression became more powerful. If I would have said कि he is like a donkey or he is like a bull, it would have been a very lackluster statement. But when I say he is a donkey, he is an ass, he is a swine, or he is a bull, my expression becomes more powerful. To make my expression more powerful, more meaningful, to add more gravity to it, I use this particular possibility. And why do I eliminate the mukhyartha? Why the principal meaning is eliminated from this? Because I want to give a signal to my reader that listen to this more carefully. When I use a particular expression कि मेरे पेट में चूहे दौड़ रहे हैं, now I am feeling very hungry. If I say I am feeling very hungry, perhaps you will understand what I am trying to say. But the kind of hunger which I am experiencing at this moment, it is such an hunger that it is almost killing me. Now, how can I express that? Can I say I am very hungry? So, even that will not express what I am trying to say. But the moment I say कि यहाँ तो चूहे दौड़ रहे पेट में, and then you will immediately understand how hungry I am. You get my point? To make my communication more powerful, to make my communication more meaningful, I am giving you a signal. I am giving you a signal that try to understand this statement in a different light. Try to interpret, try to decipher what I am trying to say. I created a new expression and asked my reader, I gave him a signal to decipher it and understand it. So obviously every metaphor, when it is newly created, is a surprise for the listener. Now I said we were talking about the muhavre. All these muhavre are basically the metaphors which became a part of the language at a later juncture. They became Lakshana at a later juncture. They became Nirudha Lakshana. I will talk about it, what is Nirudha Lakshana at sometime later. But initially they were metaphors. When the person used this particular phrase for the first time, try to imagine which muhavra did you tell? 9-2-11 हो गया. But 9-2-11 हो गया is more conventional. Can you suggest me some more colorful? ईद का चांद हो गया. वो तो ईद का चांद है. Now there is a reason behind it. When somebody said कि now imagine the person who used this expression for the first time कि यार तुम तो ईद के चांद हो गए. The other person must have taken some time to understand what this man is trying to say. He must have said कि उसने ऐसे क्यों कहा? Why ईद का चांद? Then he realized that ईद का चांद is something very precious. People are waiting for him, but he may or may not appear over there. And now I am showing similar qualities, and that is why he is calling me ईद का चांद. After all this process, he will understand why he was called ईद का चांद. And the moment he discovered that expression, the meaning of that expression, probably he felt very happy. It must be. Now this is. I said that the meaning dawns upon you. दिमाग में एकदम जो ये आ गया, उसका मतलब आ गया. It must be a matter of pleasure. This language can give you pleasant surprises. Now, but this happens only once. Metaphor can give you this exciting experience, though it is different than Abhida, and though it has a greater potential than Abhida, it has a capacity to give that experience only once. Once the meaning of that expression is understood. Now next time, if you use the same thing, now that time the person will not get excited. Now he knows the meaning of it. It is like telling a joke once again. If I tell a joke to you, you will laugh. If I tell the same joke to you, next time you will not laugh. It becomes a part of our life. Similarly, this Vyanjana, this Lakshana is a matter of excitement only before it is deciphered. Once it is deciphered, it becomes a part of the language. This particular expression where the principal meaning is negated, where the principal meaning is refuted, that expression is called Lakshana. But Lakshana has a logic, and that is why probably both the phrases which you suggested will help us to understand this phenomenon properly. When I say 9-2-11, when you said 9-2-11, now why 9-2-11? Why not 2-4-5? तो वो तो 8-9-10 हो गया, 81-82-83 हो गया. Why not? तो Is there any specific reason behind it? Perhaps there was, but we do not know. We do not know. There must be some reason. There must be some, probably in some film, some Kaidi number 911 must have run away from the jail, and probably they started using that particular number. We do not know. There must be some reason behind it which is forgotten. But in case of Eid Ka Chand, you can explain the logic behind it. You can understand the logic behind it. So, Lakshana apparently looks meaningless, but it is not as meaningless as we think. There is a logic, there is a meaning behind Lakshana also, and that has been discussed by so many scholars in so many ways. So, there are two types of Lakshanas. One is Nirudha Lakshana. Nirudha Lakshana is the Lakshana which is faded metaphor, which has been just now Naudogara, where the meaning is forgotten. Now we use that phrase only out of habit. We don't know that it has stopped exciting us, but we use it as a part of the language. This is Nirudha is conventional. So there is conventional Lakshana which is accepted in the language, and there is Prayojanavati Lakshana. Nirudha Lakshana and Prayojanavati Lakshana. What is Prayojan? Prayojan is purpose. So there is Lakshana is a better part of lingual expression. That purposeful Lakshana calls for a greater attention. Now this Lakshana is also called Upachara or Gauni Vritti by some of the scholars. The people who have commented on Lakshana, they have also suggested, even Bhartrhari himself has used this terminology, Upachara or Gauni Vritti. Now which is I said is a secondary significatory system, which is crossing the range of Yogyata. Now last time, just in the previous session, we were talking about the three prerequisites of making a sentence. Do you remember? The first was Yogyata, the second was the Akanksha, and the third was Sannidhi. The first was Yogyata, where parity of the words is important. Now the example which he gave, Payasa Sinchati and Agninam Sinchati. Do you remember the example? We discussed it in the previous session. Now Payasam Sinchati is sprinkling with water, which is a meaningful statement. But the moment he says Agninam Sinchati, it becomes a meaningless expression. But is it really meaningless? If it is used in the right context, if you say that go out and the sun is sprinkling the world with fire, now it becomes a meaningful sentence. Agninam, we know that it's so hot outside. Agninam Sinchati, he considered that Agninam Sinchati is a meaningless statement. But go out and if somebody says that the sun is sprinkling the world with fire, you will accept, you will think that, yeah, beautiful, this is a beautiful expression. So, denying the Yogyata is a part of Lakshana. Mukhyarthahati is the first Lakshana of Lakshana. Denying the Yogyata, the element of Yogyata, is the second factor of Lakshana. The third factor is psychic resistance. It creates a kind of psychic resistance. The moment I use the Lakshana, you get a shock. You get a psychic shock. He kya bol raha hai? As we said earlier, when the Lakshana is being used for the first time, you get that psychic shock. Every time you do not get it. I remember there are some Gujarati phrases, and one of my friends was supposed to meet me in the evening. He could not come. The other friend who met me, I asked him कि वो मुझे मिलने वाला था, वो आया नहीं, तो उसने हिंदी में कहा कि उसकी बकरी डब्बे में हो गई. Now this was quite a curious phrase. बकरी डब्बे में हो गई और बकरी डिब्बे में हो गई. And I couldn't get it, but it certainly gave me a psychic shock, as Bhartrhari says. And then later on I came to know that the place where, and that is, तो उसकी बकरी डिब्बे में हो गई, उसका मतलब उसको पकड़ के उसमें बंद किया गया. Now once I understood the meaning of it, that psychic resistance was over. Sometimes, or the other example, which I think is a better example, which I have given to my students so many times, that we used to have a readers club in our faculty, and we used to sit together and read poems and discuss those poems. So once we were sitting together till very late, and a mazdoor from Chota Udaipur area was working over there. He was cutting the grass, and one of us said कि चलो let's go home, it's very dark, अंधेरा हो गया. That mazdoor, he had a very curious reaction on it. He was listening to us. He said, इसको आप अंधेरा कहते हैं? Do you call it dark? Come to Chota Udaipur, jungles of Chota Udaipur. The darkness over there is so thick that you can cut it into slices. वहां पे अंधेरा इतना घना होता है कि उसके टुकड़े निकाल सकते हो. Now, we said this is the poem of today. ये तो almost कविता बन गई. तो but then we came to know that this is the phrase which is used there commonly. We heard it for the first time, and that is why we experienced the excitement of it. But otherwise, it is not exciting in their own area. Do you get my point? This psychic shock is experienced only once. So there are three important things. One is Mukhyarthahati, the other is crossing the range of Yogyata, and the third is the psychic resistance. Now this Lakshana further is divided into two types of Lakshanas. Lakshana, earlier we saw there is Prayojanavati Lakshana and Nirudha Lakshana, commonplace Lakshana. But even Prayojanavati Lakshana is divided into two categories. One is Shuddha Lakshana and the other is Gauni Lakshana. The word Gauni comes from Guna. What is Guna? Property, quality. Now, the phrase which you talked of, Eid Ka Chand, that is a Gauni Lakshana, because there is a qualitative similarity between that person and the Eid Ka Chand. नहीं, उनके गुणों में कुछ साम्य है ना, इसलिए वो गौणी लक्षणा है. When I said that he is like a bull in China shop, there is a similarity between that person and a bull who would enter into a China shop. When I call somebody a Gada, there is a similarity between the quality of a Gada and the quality of that particular person. That is why I abused him using that particular term. This Lakshana is called Gauni Lakshana, which is a more commonly used Lakshana, which is Gunadharita Lakshana. It is based on the qualities of two things, the common qualities between two things. Okay? This Lakshana is a Gunadharita Lakshana. Then there is an Upalakshana. Upalakshana is not exactly a Lakshana, but it is a matter of deciding the range of an expression. Sometimes the Mukhyarthahati is not there, but you say half of the things and the person is expected to understand the rest of the thing. There was a very interesting story that a shopkeeper, he had some important work, and he told his servant that keep an eye on the door. Keep an eye on the door. I will be back in an hour. Now some Madarika Khel was going on over there, and this servant wanted to go and watch the Madarika Khel. But his owner had told him to keep an eye on the door. So he took the door with him and watched the Madarika play. यहाँ पे चोरी होके सब खा दिखाना. Actually, when he was told to keep an eye on the door, it means keep an eye on the shop, not only on the door. If I leave the pot of curds and pot of milk on the kitchen platform and ask you to keep an eye on the milk, if the cat comes and eats away the curd, तो तुम बिल्ली को नहीं भगाओगे. ऐसे थोड़ा ही मतलब है. When I said कि दूध पे ध्यान रखो, इसका मतलब दूध और दही दोनों पे ध्यान रखो, है ना? So here the expression is partial expression, which is to be understood as the full expression. This is not exactly a Lakshana, but this is a kind of Upalakshana. This is a Sub-Lakshana. The Shuddha Lakshanas have many categories in it. They are called Saropa Lakshana, Sadhyavasana Lakshana, Upadana Lakshana, Lakshana Lakshana. The whole attempt is towards understanding the logic behind using this kind of expression. This expression is a very curious expression. This expression is a very complex expression, and the Indian linguistics has tried to understand the intricacies of it by applying logic to it, by trying to understand the logic behind it. Now, the Alankarikas have tried to understand it differently. I told you that basically this is a linguistic theory, but later on it was used by the Alankarikas for aesthetic purpose. So the Alankarikas, they have given some possible reasons to understand this Lakshana. One is the Gunamulak Lakshana, that is Gauni Lakshana, which is based on the Sadrushya or Sadharma between two things, the similarity between two things, which we have already discussed. That Samipya can also be a reason behind the use of Lakshana. Samipya is proximity. Samipya is Sanidhya. The example which you will find in all these books on Indian aesthetics is Gangayam Ghosha. Gangayam Ghosha. Hamlet. Hamlet is a small village. कि हम लोग बातें करते समय ऐसे कहते हैं ना कि वो गंगा पर जो घाट है, तो घाट गंगा पर नहीं होता है, गंगा की बाजू में होता है। हम कहते हैं गंगा पर घाट है। और हिंदी we use this Lakshana very often. If you ask कि रमेश को देखा था, तो बोलता हाँ कल ही तो मेरे घर पर से गुजरा था। अब आदमी घर पर से नहीं गुजरता ना, घर के नजदीक से गुजरता है, मगर was because of that samipya, because of that nearness is so much. You wanted to express that he was very near to my house. Instead of saying कि मेरे घर के बाजू से गुजरा था, you said घर पर से गुजरा था. This is a Lakshana. We use Lakshana so commonly, we don't even realize that this is a Lakshana. Otherwise घर पर से गुजरा था, तो सामने वाला ये तो नहीं कहता ना कि भाई तेरे घर पर से कैसे गुजरा, तेरा घर तो इतना ऊंचा है. We don't say it. Because we know that this is a Lakshana, this is a Lakshanic use. It is to be understood differently. So this is Samipya is another reason behind the Lakshanic expression. Then Adhara Adheya Lakshana. Adhara Adheya, the content and the container. Content and the container. When we were having a break in between, Madam asked me कि और एक आध कप लेंगे? तो what were you offering me? Were you offering me the cup or the tea in the cup? मैं ये तो नहीं कहता लाइए मैं घर ले जाता हूँ कप. तो you were offering me tea, but instead of saying कि और चाय पियेंगे, आप पूछेंगे एक आध और कप चलेगी, तो कप नहीं, कप के अंदर की टी चलेगी, कप नहीं चलेगी. तो this but cup is containing the tea, and that is why we use cup as the Adhara Adheya Lakshana. There are so many phrases, we don't even realize that we use Lakshana so commonly in our expression that we have forgotten that they are Lakshanas. So this is Adhara Adheya. Even Karya Karan. Have you read Shivram Murthy? So, when we were talking about Vishnu Dharmottara, if I ask you, have you read Shivram Murthy? So can you read Shivram Murthy? You don't read Shivram Murthy, you read the writing by Shivram Murthy. But I say, have you read Shivram Murthy? So here, what I did, I collapsed the Karya and the Karana. Karya Karana Bhava was put together and I created a new phrase by mixing them together. So, which means that Lakshana is not as illogical as it appears. Apparently, Lakshana seems to be illogical, but there is a logic behind it. There are various different types of logics behind it. Then Tadarthya. Tadarthya is deriving the same meaning out of it. Panipat, you know, Panipat is near Delhi, and there were so many wars that were fought at Panipat. One of the biggest that was fought in Panipat was between Ahmad Shah Abdali and the Maratha Confederacy. So the Marathas, that was the first major war that the Marathas lost, and they say that 50,000 people were killed in Panipat war. So the message which was communicated to Pune from Panipat was 1 lakh bangdi phooti. 1 lakh bangdi phooti. Now this has a long, you will have to understand it using the cultural references. कि Bangdi is a symbol of Saubhagya. Bangdi is a Saubhagya. In India, in those days, Bangdis were worn only by the women who were married. And particularly, you must have seen it in the Hindi films. The moment the husband dies, the lady dashes her hands against the wall and breaks her bangles. So 50,000 people died. Each woman wears 2 bangris. When the message came, 1,00,000 bangri phuti, it means 50 women became widow. So, now this is a very interesting expression, very picturesque expression, but it is based on the tadarthya. This lakshana is called upadana lakshana. Upadana lakshana deriving the same meaning using different kind of phraseology. So this is upadana lakshana. See how interesting the whole expression is. Try to understand it. Nyaya Sutra tries to understand logic from a different perspective. So Gautama also tries to understand lakshana using his rules of logic, and he talks about, which is very similar, sahacharana. Being together can be a reason behind lakshana. Like if somebody comes asking for, अरे भाई अमित भाई आए हैं क्या? बादल उनको बताता है कि नहीं, उनकी बुलेट तो नहीं दिखाई। तो अब सवाल है, अमित भाई आए हैं क्या? बादल कह रहे हैं उनकी बुलेट नहीं दिखाई रही है। भाई बुलेट आई है क्या थोड़ी पूछा मैंने तो पूछा अमित भाई आए हैं क्या? बट द बुलेट एंड अमित भाई आर inseparable from each other. Since the bullet is not there, it perhaps means that Amit is also not there. Do you get it? This is sahacharana. The sahacharana being together of the bullet and the person led to this kind of expression, right? Then there is Thana. The Central Asia में काफी सारा अनरेस चल रहा है, and you will find headlines in newspapers that Iraq is burning. Iraq is burning. Now Iraq is not burning. There are some problems in Iraq, but to make it more dramatic, they use this kind of expression. Sthana, the place, is the reason behind it. Then Vrutta, behavior. Vrutta means vartan. The behavior is also a reason behind many lakshanas where we use this kind of expression. I don't know whether you have seen a film called Golmaal. So, in Golmaal, now they are trying to run away from the house, and she speaks a little loudly, and the protagonist says कि don't shout, वो यमदूत आ जाएगा, and she says कौन यमदूत? So actually he is calling यमदूत to her father. Now why did he call यमदूत? Because the behavior of the girl's father and the behavior of the Yamadut is very similar to each other. So here the vartana, the behavior is the reason behind this lakshana. So sthana can be a reason, vartana can be a reason, dharana, weight. I don't know why Gautama talks about the weight, but there are some very ruthless expressions which we use in Hindi language. If a person is slightly overweight, he is called hathi ka bachcha. Such an expression is the result of dharana, where weight is the logic behind it. Gautama, I don't know why Gautama has included dharana in his list. Then the inherent connection. Yoga lakshana is a very complex lakshana. The story of Soni Mehwal or the story of Heer Ranjha. Actually, do you think that they are love stories? They are not love stories. Actually, it is a love story between the Atma and the Paramatma. It is the love story between the Jivatma and the Paramatma. In some of the cases, the preyasi, the beloved is the Paramatma and the lover is the Atma. Well, actually, it is a metaphorical story. It's not a real love story. It speaks about the relationship between the Jivatma and the Paramatma, and this is a great lakshana. This is called the Yoga Lakshana by Gautama. Gautama in his Nyaya Sutra calls this kind of lakshana, this kind of metaphor as Yoga Lakshana. And then sadhana or sadhyavasana, where the cause plays a very important role. You know, in Indian languages, water is called Jivan. Water is called Jivan. Why is it called Jivan? Because without water, the Jivan is not possible. So the karya of that particular object becomes a reason behind the lakshana. This is also a different kind of lakshana. This is called sadhyavasana or sadhana lakshana. And again, samipya and tadarthya has been discussed by Gautama also. So the Vaiyakarnis and the Alankarikas, both of them are convinced about one thing, that Lakshana is not a meaningless expression. There is a logic behind it, and they have tried to understand this logic. Now, at the same time, we'll go back. Now, at this juncture, I will go back to the point which I raised right in the beginning, that Nirudha Lakshana. Once the Lakshana becomes Nirudha, now you must have realized that every metaphor is an aesthetic expression when it is expressed for the first time. The next time, it becomes a convention. The most popular example which I always keep using for my students is a boy calling his beloved as Chand Ka Tukda or something like that. Or if a boy tells his girlfriend कि I can get you a piece of moon for you, मैं तो तेरे लिए तारे भी लेके आऊंगा. Now imagine the first person who said this to his beloved, that girl must have been so happy. She knows that this man cannot get that, but she must have felt so happy कि क्या बात की इसने, कि मतलब he expressed his love so beautifully. But now, if your friends tell this to you, probably तुम कहोगे यार भेजा मत शायद. Now that phrase has become so common that we do not appreciate that phrase. Every Lakshana at some point becomes a part of the mainstream language, and if it does not have enough potential, it becomes a cliche. It becomes a very commonplace, very boring, and that is why that kind of Lakshana is called, Bhartrhari uses a very interesting phrase for it. It is Vyapaka Abhidha. Vyapaka Abhidha. It is an extension of Abhidha. It becomes a part of the mainstream language. Now, even in visual arts, you can see this, that some of the metaphors are being used again and again, particularly in modern art. Modern art metaphors were not commonly used in ancient art. In those days, people made portraits, but even there were allegories, there were analogies used in painting. But nowadays, in modern art, the metaphors are used very commonly. But some of the metaphors are used by so many artists. And the example which I always quote as an example, as an illustration, that a few years back in Baroda, every sculptor started using boats. Or sometimes every sculptor started using milestones. Sometimes, you must have observed this, that some of the metaphors or some of the motifs are used all over India. It almost becomes an epidemic. Now, the first person who uses that metaphor uses it with the gravity of meaning. So I was here. We must take up the point of Nirudha Lakshana. Nirudha Lakshana is conventional Lakshana, and the conventional Lakshana almost becomes a part of Abhidha. It can be called Vyapaka Abhidha because, like the principal meaning, it becomes a part of mainstream language. The moment you read that metaphor, you are bound to derive the meaning which is already predetermined. The Nirudha Lakshana which we discussed, 9-2-11 ho jana. Now this has become a very commonplace phrase, and if somebody uses that phrase, we don't get excited about it. There is no reason to get excited. Even in visual arts, you will find something similar. I am tempted to give an example which I have already used so many times to explain this to my students. That a few years back, Bhupen Thakur used a metaphor. Rather, it was recognized as a metaphor by a very important critic of India, Geeta Kapoor. It was a painting called Goa Fisherman, in which two naked men were shown standing in a boat, and one of them was holding a fish in his hand. Now, Geeta Kapoor recognized that fish as a metaphor of male genital organ and tried to explain that painting further. After that, the boat was identified as the symbol of female genital organ in some other painting. Now, later on in Baroda, the boat and the fish became so common in every expression that for 3-4 years in Baroda, people kept making boats and fishes only. So, now this metaphor, you must be noticing that some of the metaphors and some of the motifs are being used all over India today. They have become so common that they have become a part of Niruda Lakshana. They no more they have lost the capacity to move the people, excite the people, and it has become a cliche. Now these cliches are Niruda Lakshanas, and they lose all their capacity to give an aesthetic experience to the viewer or to the listener. Such Lakshana is the lackluster Lakshana. Lakshana certainly has some potential to excite the reader, but it soon loses it. When it is used repeatedly, it loses that potential, and that is why, though Lakshana is a very important potential of language, it has its own limitations and cannot be considered as the right medium for aesthetic expression. For that, we will have to turn to Vyanjana. This is what has been discussed by the Indian aesthetes also. So in short, Lakshana can be deciphered, and the moment it is deciphered, it becomes redundant. It ceases to be a metaphor. Keeping this in mind, we will talk about the third potential of language, that is Vyanjana, in the next session.